Hey everybody, welcome to a session with us here at DISTRIBUTECH. We're live here. So happy you could join us. I'm Sean Moser. I'm the Senior Vice President and Chief Product Officer for Grid Software at GE Vernova, and I'm joined by a couple guests.
I'm Don Reeves, Senior Vice President of Outcomes for Itron, which is our software and services unit.
And my name is Stefan Zschiegner, and I'm a Vice President of Product Management, also at Itron, working as part of the Outcomes business unit.
Thank you guys a ton for being here. Look, we've got some really big news that we're celebrating together. I'm really excited to see these two companies come together and join forces on such an important problem. But Don, why don't you tell us about what's happening? Break the news for us here.
All right, well, thank you, Sean. Yeah, it really is exciting to see two industry leaders, GE Vernova and Itron, come together and offer our customers an integration of our complete software solutions. The GE Grid OS fabric is going to be instrumental in allowing us to tie the data together from Itron's Grid Edge Intelligence platform, and then connecting that in with your ADMS, OMS, GIS, and other back office systems that utilities depend upon to run the grid. So we're just excited to be able to see that capability come together and looking forward to unlocking new value for the utility customers and ultimately really delivering new capability and new benefits for the end consumer.
How is this, just real quick on that, like how is this a little bit different maybe? Because you guys work with a lot of vendors, you know, you're a big provider. How is this a little different than the things you're doing with some of the other vendors?
Yeah, I'd say our focus here has really been on the data and really thinking about how do we tie that data together at a fundamental level, ensure that we're speaking the same language, and that the sort of typical challenges that show up when utilities try to integrate these disparate systems won't be a problem as our systems come together. And we really appreciate the capabilities and the partnership that really both sides are bringing together to make this happen. Certainly the Grid OS data fabric is critical to making this happen. Maybe you could explain a little bit about how that is really helping to tie it all together.
Yeah, no, we're really excited about collaborating on the data fabric. The idea of the data fabric is really how do utilities bring all these different data points together to solve these real-time problems. There's a huge amount of data that they can get access to, but over 80% of that is generally dark data, unused data. And you guys invented AMI. That's a huge data source for any system like what GE would build, right, for controlling the grid. But it's really hard often for companies to integrate these together. Utilities tend to have to spend a lot of time as a system integrator, a data integrator, a service kind of integrator, and we want to make that easier. So the data fabric leaves data where it is, lets customers kind of connect all that together, and then get it up to whatever application, whether it's a GE application, an Itron application, or their own application to leverage that data layer. So look, Stefan, as we talk about data, we're sitting here, we're talking about data, we're talking about all these different components. What are some of these big data challenges that utilities are facing, especially at the grid edge, and how does that impact utilities? Why is this all so hard for them?
Yeah, Sean, very good question. So when we look at this, we really look at this in a way that, you know, the smart meters now becoming grid sensors. They were creating data every second or sub-second. And the challenge here for our utility customers is that these meters sit on millions and millions of homes. And now what's happening with the evolution of electrification of transportation, new electric vehicles showing up behind in people's garages that the utilities don't know anything about. We're now bringing real-time information across millions of endpoints together. And this creates a huge data challenge. So creating the visibility of down to the endpoint at the house is a huge deal, and then eventually optimizing and potentially controlling this on behalf of the consumer or with the consumer creates a whole nother set of technology and data challenges. When we talk to our utilities customers here at DTEC, we're kind of hearing more and more that it's not just a technology problem, it's really a problem of like, how do you actually operationalize that? And the operationalization of that creates now a question of like, how do you think about the data model? That you not only think about the technology, but bringing this all together in an integrated fashion. And just as a partnership between our two companies, we now have the opportunity to solve this problem and prepare the two utility customer together by coming together in a combined solution. And we're super excited about this. And let's talk about use cases. There's a lot of new use cases that we and our teams, as they started to work together, came up with and started to create new ideas. But what we see this week, now the utilities, our customers come up with new ideas that we haven't thought about. So it's a super exciting opportunity. So therefore, I wanted to pose the question to you, Sean, like, what do you think is the most exciting thing that you experience here these days?
Yeah, I think the use cases are really profound, right? And they're meaningful to the utility. I think some of the use cases that we're hearing customers talk obviously about is this distributed energy management problem. I've got resources at the edge. I want to know what they're doing. I want to be able to see them, understand them. That's a huge one for them, obviously. Another one, though, is just even simple things like, Voltvar or power flow, just anything where they're really looking at, can I understand exactly what's happening, increase my fidelity and accuracy, and trust that data for all my real-time decision making. So it can be literally just that simple. But I do think, like you said, with just the onslaught of energy devices at the edge and your edge compute, there's just a huge opportunity here. Don, what are you hearing?
Yeah, I think what I am most excited about and what I'm hearing as the biggest challenge is really addressing the question of visibility below the substation. Most utilities, they've got great instrumentation down to the substation, but then below that, they are often really blind, and they're relying upon models that were built sometimes decades ago as to how each premise should be operating and how each element of the grid is operating, connecting those premises. And now we really have the ability to change the game, provide real-time insight into not what they think is happening, what actually is happening, and therefore being able to go ahead and deliver that information to the higher level systems, enable those operators to act on that. And ultimately, I think we stand here on the precipice of giving utilities a brand new capability for operating their grid with maximum flexibility and efficiency. And that is ultimately going to save the end consumer an awful lot of money as we're making this energy transition.
And agility, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge. Look, I think when we look at these problems and we look at this opportunity, one question I would pose to both of you, and I've got my own opinion, but why do you think it's so important for Itron and GE to work on this, and why are we uniquely positioned to go attack this problem? What's different in the approach here?
Stefan, why don't you go first?
Yeah, so Sean, I think we're at super exciting times here in this industry, but we have an obligation to our customers, and as industry leaders, we really see that they're at the verge with this especially the electrification of transportation, which could lead, and now based on our customers' estimate, to double capacity in the distribution grid, or even triple in some cases. So how do we help them to come up with a more sustainable and more carbon neutral solution is one of the big challenges here. And I think at the end it is important for industry leaders to really come together in solving these gigantic problems that this industry is faced with.
Yeah, I guess I think about it fundamentally as a question of time and time to value. That when I look at the challenges that the industry faces and the complexity that is been thrust upon the leaders of the industry, they are just faced with needing to solve these problems as quickly as possible. And by us coming together, and there'll be other partners that will be key components of this, that if we can pre-integrate our solutions, agree on standards, agree on ways of interchanging data, and really solve that fundamental integration problem, then we can deliver that value much more rapidly, and we can allow the industry to move forward more rapidly. So again, I just see it as really unlocking an exciting new set of capabilities. I guess, you know, as you think about what will come ahead for us, what should our viewers be expecting in the next year or two?
I think, one, it's exciting times, as you guys both said. I think that the approach that we're taking, first of all, on having a shared approach, a unified approach to this, and then making that open, right? It's not exclusive, it's not locked in. We're saying, look, this is a bigger problem than either of us together. We're two very large providers. We have a big impact and a big responsibility, but we want really to solve this with as many people as want to participate. So I would say, you know, the use cases that'll come out of both teams will be obviously the biggest one because that has an immediate return to the utilities. But I also think our ability to contribute, our ability to kind of share what we're doing and get other people involved, I think that's a big opportunity, especially so many interesting, compelling startups kind of coming into the space that want to help solve this problem. The data that Itron has at the edge and that GE has at the core can fuel so many innovative new approaches that we haven't even imagined yet. Even our customers are just coming up with ideas that we haven't really conceived of. And so I think that's a big, big opportunity. Look, I just to kind of pull this together, I think we're very excited about this. Couldn't be more excited about it. We hope you're really excited about it and excited about the opportunity and the ability for us to help you solve these challenges. And we're looking forward to a bunch of great things between the two companies as the year moves on. So thank you for taking some time, spending it with us, and hopefully sharing our excitement in trying to go solve this problem.